Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Ansar Gilani, English commentator at the entire sports, instructor at Intercultural Studies, Social Sciences, English Literature and International Relations. As far as I am concerned, I am a trendsetter, and the object of a trendsetter is to just give somewhat guidelines as to how we are to meet with the ways of the world. Either we are in the world of politics or in the world of education or in the welfare services we are giving, because these three areas are the areas where leadership is built up and the people are served in a public sense, in a wider perspective, with ideology or with vision and with preaching kind like minded people. And the builder of the, you can say, societies are present in the department of education or in the department of politics or in the world of you can say as welfare services are concerned. We are to go for others. When we talk about as to how we are to go for others, it all depends how things could make us correct-minded and right-minded and you can say well-directed. It could only be when we have been, you can say, cherished with the right kind of, you can say, reforms or right kind of guideline or right kind of character have been built, that will leave the impact what we think and what we get the manual or intellectual training to go for others in three areas, by educating others, by preaching others, and by helping others with authority and resources. And with richness, we can go for others as welfare services. The way we serve others by welfare services, that makes us more God-fearing and God-knowing and knowing of yourself and knowing of others, real beings, and you feel satisfied, and your altruistic approach makes you elated and makes you a person of heightened character and reaching to the highest order of the life. So there I will discuss two areas as to how we are to serve others. As well as we go through two kind of phases in our lives. One is our simple living and a simple drive towards life, and where main objective and purpose is to be take care of ourselves, how to make our beings to be right kind, and how we are to protect ourselves and our individualness and individual persona and individual character and real personality, so that we can think well without any poisonous based ideas or without poisoned, you can say, kind of thoughts. We become clear-minded one and clear-sighted ones and clear-visioned one, either to help us ourselves or to our family. We should be simple-minded and straight-minded, and here it doesn't mean to be persons of complex approach and to be unapproachable and inaccessible, instead of to be read out ourselves and to help out to read ourselves approaches and as to how we are rising in life. So when we are at the lower phase or at the middle order of the life, we are not resourceful and we are not as much, you can say, trained enough, and so as we are not much forceful to eradicate something that is coming on our way. By one way or the other way, by hard work or by some, you can say, good luck, we reach to some points of life where we become able to go for others. And this simple drive to life, simple drive towards others, slowly and gradually builds us in such a way that we become a helping tool for others, helping, you can say, vehicle for others. And this one is the source of education. We have nothing else as richness or the resources, but we get education, get our character building by sitting and being present among the right-minded people. Those they are in the world of serving others. So this thing is mainly making us how to reach to the excellence and how to reach in the center of the serving gambit or serving, you can say, zone, where from we can take start of our political visioning and helping others with somewhat support of the people. But the real, you can say, test of a character or a test of a person's vision and strategy and ideology and the charter that a person is carrying with and claiming that we are going to help others by getting votes and being elected and reaching at the parliament floor, reaching at the key posts of the departments, where institutions and the biggest institution of the society, that is parliament floor, that is reaching at the political gambit and the political zone, where a person from a simple to a complex and complex to us once again a fair-minded and honest person, and reaches by the support of the people at the parliament floor, or reaches by dint of his hard work and high skilling and going through the different official sources or different skillful sources or different refresher courses, or some areas where from a person is thrown through and goes through and become a person of high effective quality and character. But the question arises here: when you reach at the parliament floor, you should not be egoistic one and powerful and start taking revenge of the people, those who have been affecting on their character and personality and on their lives and have been becoming hurdle or a big obstacle or big stone of their success and stone of their blocking all. We must come out of this self-centeredness, or you can say narrowing our vision. Rather, we should be thankful to Almighty Allah that we were something. That's why we have been made able to reach at this parliament floor, and we are now serving the world. And who reach at the floor, at the serving the world with authority, must be thankful to Almighty Allah, and as well as that person is gifted with some finest qualities that are finally bringing him into the world of politics, which is the biggest institution and the oldest institution of the human history and the human race, that as to how we are to govern others and to rule others and to help out others, to make them able how to live in a peaceful way in the society. So reaching at the key posts or reaching at the authority, we should make such plans and such ways and such methods or technicalities to be followed, that rightfully accessing to the downtrodden areas and people who are present present as a neglected section of the society. We have to help them at the three areas. First, at the education, and second, at getting their, you can say, employed, or leveling the resources for the people to be, you can say, right kind of business entrepreneurships or business resources to be provided, and a right kind of, you can say, environment to be given, and easy taxations to be given, easy access to debts and loans to be received. So things must be made easy for them and leveled for them, so that they could work on and serve on and walk on towards the success, and to the people, and to the servers, and to the, you can say, leveling the ways for others, so that they should not be troubled and obstructed and, you can say, interrupted whenever they are giving the right kind of, you can say, job, and right kind of services are to on the return. So oppositions must be there, fair criticism must be there, and that is attached to your working for others, attached to be how to be honest and fair with the resources of the state, and the resources of the land, and the resources of the country, and the resources which are to be made for the betterment of others. This is the right kind of strategy that is to be adopted. But the main question for that all I am talking is, when you are to reach at the excellence, reach at the authority, either at the key post in the any kind of department. It could be a bureaucracy or a technocracy, or you can say the other institutions that they are just helping shoulder to the biggest one, institution of politics, where they are to shoulder up the rulers and the leaders of the politics, that they are to be made something positive for them. It's not to be pulled off them and to pull the chains, and not to make them able as to how they are to serve the common class or the commonalities of the any country or any society. So we should not be revenge taker, we should not be the target oriented and revenge driven kind of rulers or the people at the key posts. Rather, we are to protect other, and we are to facilitate other, and we are to make our best efforts to channelize the resources, and make able every citizen of the, you can say, society and the country to be lifted from the downtrodden points or a downtrodden area, either the area of the mind or the area of the country that is neglected one, must be helped out. So what is the object of the rulers? It is not to take revenge, it is not to go after the, you can say, looting and exploiting of the resources. Other ones have been doing this and that, and we are to also do this and that, because if they could do this one, why not we? So what is the difference between going one and the coming ones and the present ones, where the ways of the administration and the ways of the governor are not getting radical change. Radical change mean if the same methodology and the same tactics are being followed the way the practices have been in the past, so what would be the difference of character, and what would be the difference of the personality? It would be another way to rule and fool the people, and to dislodge them, and to make them unable, and people are to be put into restlessness, and you can say they are present at how to be fruitless kind of persons. So it becomes though very difficult to be honest being authoritarian. When you become authoritarian, you become, you can say, manipulators and exploiters, and you can say the assassinator of the even characters of the society. So if God has given you a chance to rise in life and you reach to such height where no one can other, you can say, expect of it, you be thankful, and gratitudeness should be there. And you should pray to Almighty Allah that God has made you able to reach at the height, and it was not just to make your name to be registered in the pages of the history, that once you went through the politics and you become this and that, and your name will be present in the pages of the history. This is not the achievement. If you were once achiever, later you become, you can say, more dreamer of the better achievements. So everyone's dreams turn into achievement, and then achievement makes new dreams, and new dreams turn into achievements. Even if someone is widening his role, widening his character, and widening his vision, and widening his impact upon the people in question on whom he has been, you can say, assigned and deputed. The big question arises that one must be at the helping of others. So taking revenge would waste the time, and making some positive stepping or positive, you can say, kind of strategy, positive, you can say, features to make, and make something new, kind of mechanics to evolve in the society, and justice and protection and facilitations must look in the society, must felt in the society, and must, you can say, be observed, and main difference should be observed, that what is the difference between the going ones and the coming ones and the present ones. So if there comes no change other than the changing of the faces, and the people remain in the same old, you can say, driven practices, and the system, how to corrupt the resources, and how to manipulate the and hiding of the malpractices and misappropriations, and destructive, you can say, steps and policies that are not directing the people, rather they are distracting the people. Their societal roles are being curtailed, their involvement to the welfare and in the interest of the state is being curtailed, their advancement is being curtailed and cut down, and they are being monitored, and they are being cut down, and everyone is spying on each other, would not benefit the country. Rather, we should help out the people, being the premier or being the senior or being present at the prime stage. That would benefit us, and that would make us how to go for others. You can say there are two kinds of forces that are present within the, you can say, earth and over the earth. Within the earth there are the destructive forces and constructive forces. Over the earth are also presence of the constructive and destructive forces. And on any piece of the world, on any piece of the country, if there is not external forces are not working in a positive way, and they are not, you can say, correcting the frailties of the society's people, then there a time comes when the internal, you can say, forces of the earth, like earthquake and like flood, and like you can say the conflicts and you can say clashes start working, and it become very difficult to live in a peaceful way. So before you can say the internal forces, hidden forces, or forces present down the earth start reacting and come out and wrap up the all stuff present upon the earth that is swallowed out. That would not be the end of the day. Rather, the right thing is that justice come into the society from the ruling class, from the authoritarians, and if people in authority will exploit the resources and will exploit the capabilities of the people for the wrong direction, for vested interests, that would not keep the society intact. Rather, it would destruct the peace of the mind and heart, and overall people will be in trouble. So before a trouble could take start, it's better to correct ourselves. Thank you very much.